All right, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I'll name this segment later. Spit that grease, bacon slices, bacon bits, bacon cuts. There's been a bunch of great names and whatnot. We're still working our way through that. Big ups to everybody. If the title hasn't already given me away, because of course it has, we're going to talk about, apparently, ladies and gentlemen, I am part of a larger coalition of cult leaders that are slowly but surely siphoning away your life energy and your money, and I'm pulling you away from your friends and family. You essentially work for me. Every day that you get up, you march to myself and to my peers, apparently, you march to our drum. Every part of your waking life is worrying about this guy named Phil Burnell, DSP, Darksydephil, Dark Geppetto, and his inevitable downfall. And it's because of people like me who are directing traffic that are causing that to happen. I, ladies and gentlemen, am part of a coalition, part of a group, part of a cabal that is siphoning away your life energy. I know, it's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous to say it, but that's what this idiot went out there and started saying. This idiot, DSP, had the nerve to go out there and say that his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics are only out to take advantage of their viewer base. Which is ironic because, in turn, if he could, he would take advantage of you guys if he was in the exact same position. Now, first things first, I can't speak for all detractors. I can only speak for myself. Not out here to take advantage of anything. You want to support? Cool. You don't, end story. And you don't have, trust me, you don't have to watch the content. There are better detractors out there. I've said it for years and whatnot. I've said it and people have said, yo, don't you think that's at your deficit to tell people that there are other better content creators out there? It's true. So what is there to lie about exactly? I don't see the point in that. I don't see a point in you being here if you don't want to be here. Like anything else. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. The day that I don't want to do DSP content anymore, I'll just stop making it. In the story. You know what I'm saying? In the story. The day that I want to stop being a detractor, I'll stop being a detractor. In the story. So, same concept. The thing is that's really interesting about this shit is, like I said, I don't know any detractor, troll, hater, or critic that I know of that's like that. So it is what it is. The thing is that if DSP had a chance to siphon some of you people in, if not all of you, and become pay pigs, become whales, become dents, he would do the exact same thing. If he could get all of you who are listening to me right now over there on his shitty ass streams and was able to talk shit to you and beg at you guys relentlessly, he would do so. So how is that any more taking advantage of than anything he's accusing any detractor of? It doesn't make any sense. On top of that, the way he worded it, don't worry, there's a video that's going to follow where I'll actually go over the clip itself. The fact that he would sit there and he's speaking in absolutes, like we took something from him. Did this idiot forget that the reason why restreamers exist is because he exiled those people, he banned those people from his YouTube channel, from his Twitch, from, you know what I'm saying? Like he exiled those people from every possible medium that was available to speak to him. Instagram, Twitter, all that bullshit. They were gonna go somewhere, but interestingly enough, in his head, if he pushes you out, first off, you pushed yourself out, apparently, it was your fault. And you shouldn't go to the opposition. There shouldn't even be an opposition. You should just not want to see DSP anymore, and you should just quit the internet, basically. Which is basically what DSP wants. If you're against him, you have to quit the internet. No more YouTube for you. No more other channels. No more any of those sellout YouTubers or Twitch streamers or Kick streamers who are making tons of money and don't need support and all that other bullshit. You got to just leave. You have to give up gaming, basically. You can't, if you're not going to watch it through him, you can't watch it through anybody. It's that type of mindset is the reason why he's at where he's at. It's that type of mindset is the reason why he's not even hated. He is ignored. I was going to say despised, and he is despised by some, but he's really just ignored. He's someone who's looked at as a dead relic of a time where everybody was going through their growing pains. Everybody was kind of just trying to figure out how to navigate this shit and figure out who they were as it pertains to content creation or even streaming. And they all seem to figure it out, but yet this walking mongoloid didn't. Ain't that strange? And then he wants to sit there and take credit for stuff like PewDiePie or, excuse me, as of recently, he wants to take credit for Review of the Week. You guys know he's a food review channel and whatnot. I first heard about him through, I want to tell you I heard from him through Dame Drops, but I actually think I saw the Elvis the Alien video that Elvis basically tried to shit on this guy, and in turn he actually helped make him, which is hilarious. But if you ask Elvis about that shit now, he'll say that's not the case. He said, no, I just thought he was kind of unique. I never was really out to try to bash him. Yeah, fuck you. You were trying to bash him. That's what you were trying to do. You were trying to fucking humiliate that guy, and it didn't work out and whatnot. And the fact that Review of the Week never retaliated against him is, for a while, allegedly, for a while, there was a sense of paranoia around Elvis because he thought that some type of repercussion was going to come back. Then again, Elvis was the same guy who sat there and was mistreated by Leafy, and then for whatever reason felt bad and recanted everything he said. Then all these people who also got mistreated by fucking Leafy ended up rising up and saying, yeah, you know what, he did treat all of us really badly, or he took advantage of us. And Elvis decided to fucking die on his shield with him, for Leafy, which made no damn sense, and he didn't get anything out of it anyway. But whatever, cuckery's cuckery, I suppose. That's weird to me. That's weird to me that you stood up for something. You stood on business about something that was truthful, right? Like people can corroborate what happened to Elvis, and then you decided to take it all back later because allegedly he was scared that Leafy was going to come back and turn his audience against him, which sounds kind of weak. Anyway, that was what, 2017, 2016, 2017, 2018. It was a weird time. Anyway, so it's like that. The point being, though, is DSP is not going to go anywhere with that. Like, you're not going to sit there and try this whole thing about trying to appeal to people's moral standings and shit, or moral grounds about this. This is entertainment. And because DSP is not an entertainer, because DSP has never really entertained anybody unless it was at his, deficit or at his expense. He doesn't understand how none of this shit plays out, and he still doesn't understand how this shit plays out, and he never will. And my thing is, if these people like myself bother you so much, then why do you even pay attention or even listen to it? Here's the reason, by the way. I'll answer my own question. Because in some ways, we're the only thing that gives your life meaning. And I've been sitting on this for a minute because I really wanted to ponder this before I put this out there. But the reality is like, how most people say, hey, if DSP didn't have detractors or people making videos on him, he just, he would fade out. The reality is DSP has nowhere to fade to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the moment the last detractor puts down their editing software, puts down their microphone, puts down their stencil, or whatever the case may be, then DSP basically evaporates. He's dead at that point. So I get that frame of thought. But the reality is that outside of just his general existence is based upon people talking about him in a negative sort of way, not positive. That whole positive thing he likes to put out is a myth. It doesn't exist. Truth be told, DSP needs people to speak about him in a very critical or even negative sort of way, or even a mocking sort of way. He needs that adversity. Because if he had only positivity around him, he wouldn't know what to do with himself. If he had only positivity around him, he wouldn't be able to bitch and complain about anything. Because everybody's going to be like, well, wait a second. You said that people who live positive, fulfilling lives don't speak about negativity. You're hitting all of your goals every day. This is hypothetical pig nose, our favorite game. It's an alternate universe type shit. You're hitting all of your goals. Your videos are doing pretty good. You got great viewership on your streams. Why are you speaking about negativity, drama? Why are you bashing these game publishers and developers, this, that, and the third? And what's gonna happen? He's gonna spew his usual fucking hypocrisy. And he's just gonna breed a whole new generation of detractors. So even if the current flock or crop of detractors faded out, and the OGs end up fading out too, and those in between, a new group will eventually pop up just because of his nature. His nature is to be a sniveling, crying, negative, spiteful little bitch. And that's just what's in his DNA. it'll never change. He can't change what he is because he believes in what he does, which is the most pathetic thing of it all, really, is that the guy believes his own lies. He believes his own reality, because anything outside of that scares him. It's frightening to him to know that people look at him like he's a goddamn alien. Like that, it scares him to know that he's a weirdo, that his frame of thought, the way he conducts his quote unquote household, the way he fucking treats his quote unquote family. The reason why anybody and everybody who's ever been in contact with him has either turned against him or walked away from him. If he had to actually come to the realization that it really was all of his fault, no excuses, no weaseling out, like he actually accepted, like a man does, that it was actually his fault, he'd have a heart attack and die. At best, he has a stroke, but other than that, as if he hasn't already had one of those already, allegedly, but he would just roll over and die. Why do you think he fights so damn hard? And that's why you see him mentally and physically starting to fall apart. Because if he really had to accept his reality, he's done. He's absolutely done. He's dead in the water. He's dead in the fucking water. Which is a classic trait amongst little cows, to be honest with you. He's not a person. He's barely an NPC, to be honest with you. He's nothing. He's a thing that exists. And he's so caught up in his ways that he'll never change. Truth be told, hold on a second. Truth be told, when you think about, even with the not guidance, but I would say direction of PPP and Kino Casino, he still can't hide who and what he is. PPP knows that he's just sniveling and fucking just basically snorting up to him because he can get something out of him, and DSP's too scared to turn against him. That's it. There's no real value outside of that. PPP's no fool. He understands that shit. We all do. We all do. And when you think about that cult-like mentality and this whole, you know, cult behavior, boy, oh boy, I wish this video still fucking existed. Because I don't think it's in the archives, because there's a Detractor archive out there. And, excuse me, as far as I've looked through it before, and I haven't found it, but I may have very well missed it. It's very possible. But I'm just going to say I haven't found it. There's a video that Lightsydephil made many years ago. I wish I had just downloaded that shit. But he made a video many years ago going over DSP and his cult-like behavior and shit. And he took the video down before before he actually purged everything off of his channel. And I swear to you, man, I wish I had that shit, because even to this day, I still remember it rather vividly. But even to this day, the very claims that were in that video still ring true to today. Actually, if nothing else, it's worse. Like, DSP's behavior has evolved while simultaneously devolving, to be honest with you, to the point where if you needed a definitive video speaking on DSP and his cult-like behavior, you should be able to point right to that. And like I said, it was a great video. Big ups to LSP. Well, he goes by William the Alchemist now, but you know what I mean. I wish that video still existed. I wish that video still existed. I wish PPP could have seen that shit, because it's bang on to what DSP is, how he conducts, all of it. And the thing is, which explains a lot about DSP, especially in his early years, it explains why he preys upon weak, young, and vulnerable people. You've seen it from people in his fan base. You've seen it from people that are his mods. You've seen it from the women that he poaches from his audience. You see, I mean, the only thing that you really didn't see it from was his friends, but he doesn't have any anymore because he's too scared to walk up out of his box. He has nothing to draw them to him, because if you remember, John and Howard, John in particular, came to DSP after DSP took 4th place at EVA. DSP didn't have to seek John out. John came to him and congratulated him and this, that, and the third. And that's essentially how their friendship, which later blossomed into their relationship, ended up turning into what it was. It's not the other way around. DSP can't go out there and fucking build meaningful relationships with people. he can't establish actual acquaintances or camaraderie, if you will, with people. That's why he holds on to the gaming thing for as long as he has. He's not a real gamer. He hates games. He hates the shit out of games. He always had. Games were a mean to an end. Look at Street Fighter. Fuck it. Let's cut the bullshit. Look at Street Fighter 6. He hates that game. He hates Street Fighter altogether. He despises the FGC. Why does he still do it? Why does he still try to, excuse me, why does he still try to garner the attention of the FGC? Why does he keep playing Street Fighter 6 if he hates it so much? Why does he keep playing older games that are repackaged in these collections? They're saying now that I think about it, Capcom Collection 2 might not come out until like March? No, it's either March or May, which kind of blows because I don't think it was supposed to be pushed back that far, but I don't know if they meant the physical copy and the digital's the one that's coming out soon. Don't quote me on that. I was reading something earlier on that. I think it was on IGN or some shit. Anywho, why does he keep doing it? Despite how bad he is. DSP continues to play Street Fighter because he has nothing else. He literally has nothing else. It's the only thing that he's ever had a margin of success in. Same thing with YouTube, early YouTube. Let me be very clear about that. And the same thing with early Twitch, until he had picked his fucking ball of Snorts up and went home. Same concept. It's the only reason why. If he never got fired from the helicopter company, he'd have stayed there. Yeah, he might have tried to do YouTube on the side, begging his PayPal account, but even then, by the time he got fired from the helicopter company, he was wanting to get out. He was wanting to quit. He just wasn't man enough to do so because his dad wouldn't approve of it. Don't blame him. Look at excuse me. Look at Machinima. If Machinima never went down, well, no, let's go further than that. Look at not Hitbox. What was that shit called? Blip. Blip.tv. If Blip.tv didn't fucking get rid of his ass, he would have stayed. If he didn't get booted from fucking Machinima, he would have stayed. If he didn't get booted out from Curse, he would have stayed. Hell, if SOK didn't look at the Laveria / Fotabi, DSP would have stayed. It's what he does. It's what he does. He's a useless bitch that will find something, whether it's good for him or not. He'll find something, and if he feels like he has some type of some type of margin of success, he'll stay with it until they get rid of him, which has happened his entire life. It's happened to him with friends. It's happened to him with acquaintances. It certainly happened to him with a girlfriend. I assume his wife is in the same category, except for she's a roommate and she decided to eat herself into her position. It's like that with anything and everything. How do you go to multiple MCNs and they all get rid of you for some reason? For some reason? You know what I mean? How does that happen? Sometimes it's better to have no luck than to have bad luck. And I understand pig luck is a thing. I believe in it, honestly. Pig luck isn't worth it. It's really not. It's not worth it. The guy is fucking cursed. Everybody who comes in contact with him in some way, shape, or form is going to have something unfortunate happen to them. To be honest with you, depending on the degree of separation. It just is what it is. It doesn't make any rational sense how so many things can happen around this one fucking weirdo. And it just keeps happening. It just doesn't make any sense. As it pertains to the cult leader behavior and shit, look at how he treats people. Look at how he looks at people. He doesn't value you as a person. He doesn't even see you as a person. He doesn't even see you as an NPC. He looks at you as a thing. You serve a purpose, and once that purpose is done and over with, you're done. End of story. Classic cult leader type shit, except for he just doesn't kill off the dents and shit. He's not doing any population control, so to speak. I mean, it is what it is. And then whenever he's challenged on something and he just can't outright overpower you, then he has to try to talk you down. He has to try to talk himself off the cliff on why you have to understand how things come from you have to view things, I should say, from his point of view, which is the worst way of going about it. Because that's not you being honest about what the situation is in front of you. It's you deflecting and trying to buy time. while you're starting this vortex of words so you can get people confused so eventually they give up. That's why talking to DSP, let's reword that. That's why debating DSP is literally like a war of attrition. If you know and understand enough about him, you can cut through his bullshit immediately and just get in, attack him. If you don't, or if you try to be cordial about it, he'll take, you give him an inch and he'll take all the snorts. And he'll literally fucking mind fuck you until you just give up and the meeting's over or the debate's over 30, 45 minutes later. Why do you think he doesn't mind doing Q&As? Why do you think he spends so much time going through, seeing what he wants to answer to and what he don't? Because, excuse me, if there's some money behind it, you might get anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. If there's some big money behind it, plus something that works against his already narrative, you'll get 10, 15, 20 minutes. If he's really trying to stall for time because he don't want to play video games, that's why the pre-streams or the Bottom Bitch podcast is getting longer and longer and longer. He'll take the most minute bullshit, like I do, and stretch that shit out for as long as he can. It's just what he does. All of that are various characteristics of cult-like behavior. The fuck are you talking about? Have you actually talked to a dent? If you have, talk to Proper, for example. Speak to Proper, because he's talked to a bunch of dents. It's on some next level shit, bro. Even better, go to the fucking June the King segment of his documentary where you hear some of those guys talk or whatnot. Dude, it's very clear all of them guys have problems. Each and every last fucking one of them. They all got problems. They all got issues. They all need therapy, to be honest with you. And I don't mean that even in a disparaging sort of way, which is kind of out of characteristic for them. They need therapy. They need to actually sit down and talk to someone. They need to square shit away in their own lives. But long before you start having parasocial relationships with this ass clown. And this is someone that keeps telling you guys repeatedly, I'm not your friend. I'm not your friend. I'm not here to fucking coddle you or do any of that bullshit. You're here to enjoy what I'm doing and give me money. But then he starts off most of the fucking Bottom Bitch podcast with welcome friends, hey friends, all this. Stop. It's a meaningless word that fucking must taste like sand or dirt or whatever it was that cat burnt last in his fucking mouth. It is what it is. There is no cult-like behavior in this shit. Unlike over there in fucking Dentland, right? In the Denty Kingdom. If you don't like a fucking detractor, you just move on to the next one. In the story, you have choices, you have options. With DSP, it's either, you know what I'm saying, you either continue existing as a dent or live long enough to become the next plaything for a detractor, if not a detractor yourself. In the story. It doesn't get any more open and shut than that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. I'll catch you guys for the next one of these. I'll name the segment later. Take care of yourself, people. Take care of yourself. Don't become a dent. He's the gods. For God's sake, don't become a dent. Later, people.